welcome back to episode 42 of Let's Write. So today we will be continuing with characterization, but we'll be doing something a little bit different. Today we will be using a character that we've previously done a character sketch on, and specifically spending 15 minutes expounding on their backstory slash history. So the goal of this is to do a little bit of refining and expansion on one of the characters. You can choose any of the characters that we have done so far that you've done for your character sketches. It doesn't matter which one, so it can be a supporting character, a main character, etc. So we're going to write for 15 minutes, but you can go ahead right now and get yourself situated and comfortable, and if you need more time to do so, as always, you can pause the video. So let's write. Welcome back. So, I decided to choose Dara. She's my main character, and I was kind of personally not really sure exactly the details of how she came to the temple. So that is what I specifically focused on. So I actually went incredibly specific, whereas you didn't necessarily have to do that. So if you just kind of did almost from beginning, like from beginning of their story to the present point, that's fine as well. The whole point was just to do some expansion and refining of the character. So let's get to know Dara a little more. Dara grew up to a wealthy family near the Carnsalian capital Carnsalo. She was the seventh child, as was her mother before her, and her mother before her, and so on and so forth. Her life initially was carefree. It consisted of many hours with her older brothers and sisters and outside in the gardens. Although occasionally strange things would happen when she was angry, but she never thought anything of it. When she was around 8 years old, her parents took her on a trip. They told her they were going to visit the Temple of Ishvara, which didn't mean anything to a little 8-year-old girl. Once they arrived, she realized Ishvara was a town and the temple was part of the town. The people were kind and friendly, and there was an old man who greeted them and said his name was Saul, and he was the secretary to the head elder, and he would take them to the temple. He was very nice to Dara and answered all of her questions without frustration. When they arrived at the temple, her parents and her were able to meet the high priestess as well as the priestesses and priests of water, fire, earth, and air. Most of it was of little consequence to Dara. The names didn't mean anything to her. As it neared nighttime, she asked her parents when they were leaving and going home. They sat down and told her very sternly that they were leaving in the morning and she would be staying here. They said a whole bunch of things such as she would bring bad luck to the family and she needed to stay there. She started crying, not understanding what was happening. They kept telling her she needed to be fixed, and the only way to do that was to stay at the temple. They didn't say goodbye, and they didn't give her a hug. As the months passed, she realized that the temple was really a school for teaching magic, specifically elemental magic. She was told she possessed the skill for elemental magic, but she had not shown an inclination for a specific element. She was confused and scared, and she went off alone and cried until she was startled by a girl about her age who told her not to cry and said she would be her friend and make sure she never cried again. Her name was Lywin. Lywin became her best friend and closest confidant, and when Dara's magic manifested, Lywin was right by her side, encouraging her to embrace her magic. So that's all I wrote. And as I was reading this out loud, I realized I went a little bit into like actually telling the story, which was not the goal of this at all. But it did kind of help me get a clearer view of what happened and how she ended up at the temple. So I guess all in all, the goal was reached. So in any case, that is all for today. Tomorrow, we will be continuing with our NaNoWriMo preparation by going back to world building again. So that should be a lot of fun and creativity, so look forward to that. And as always, thank you so much for what you send in, for your comments and suggestions. I really appreciate them. And as always, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it, and I hope you gain as much from this as I do. So I will see you tomorrow. Bye.